What the fuck is this?
Hi. Are we working? Are we live? Test, test. There's a few things to note. If you can hear me, I don't know if you can or not. I assume you can. But I've messed with the settings. I wanted to increase things to 1080p. I've noticed the 720 streams are just looking like not good enough. We're about to move into PSVR2. I can't be having the 720p streams. I got the 32 gigabytes of RAM in the laptop for a reason. So I bumped it back up to 1080p. And I upped the frame rate to 60 from 30, which is not really necessary for this type of a thing. But when it comes to the gaming, when it comes to PSVR 2, I think it's going to be necessary. So hopefully the laptop survives, doesn't catch fire, and everything will be fine. Alright? The second thing to note is I've got a goatee now. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. It's not the type of man I am. Please don't judge me based on this. It was an accident shaving. My partner shaved me. The very last stroke of the blade, she went in deep, cut out a big chunk, and it just looked. It had to go. I had to turn this into a goatee or go completely bald, facially bald. I wasn't prepared to do that. So that's what's happening here. Although I notice it doesn't look too bad on the camera. Maybe with the bright lights is helping. In real life, let me tell you, it looks like absolute shit. Anyway, we've got No One Knows, aka Daniel, saying, "Sup, you bum, smash the thumb, or find out where I put Jimmy Hoffa." I don't know who Jimmy Hoffa is, but I assume he's gone. Gone somewhere. And Fozzie Bear is here. And, lowered your ears, I see. Yes, I did. She's not supposed to shave there. Well, you know what? Normally I do shave the beard myself. But this time she offered, so I said, okay, let's do it. You look beautiful, says Fozzie. Fozzie, thank you so much. Getting me blushing already. We got Mega Devil Bird here saying, the world isn't ready for full facial pump baldness, dude. Exactly. Keep as much as me covered up as possible. So I'm looking forward to this next few weeks where it grows back in. Jason Ewan, how are you doing? Howdy, everybody, says Jason. Jason, I hope you're keeping well. And Joshua Taylor over here saying, Jimmy Hoffa was a union gangster. New headset, new image. He was a union. I assume he's dead. Was he assassinated? Was he kidnapped? New headset, new image. Exactly. But listen, lads, we're practically there. It's practically out. It's not out yet, but in the case of some of you, your orders have been processed. It's probably loaded up in a truck somewhere. Maybe it's even in transit. Maybe some of you, and depending on where you live and depending on what kind of circumstances you have, could be in the back of a plane or a truck. Something getting inching its way closer to your house by the second. And is that not exciting? The fact that you're replying to me, I assume the audio is all good. Everything's good there. Jason Ewan says, I'm getting super moist just thinking about the PSVR 2. Let me tell you, Jason Ewan, I've got swamp. Not just swamp ass, swamp everything thinking about the PSVR 2. I'm just a swamp right now. Mega Devil Bird says, you look a shell of a pumpkin, pal. I know. It's rough. It's rough. But it's only temporary. Things will get better. Jason Ewan, thank you for reminding people to thumbs up. I do appreciate that. Joshua says, yeah, they buried him. Nobody ever found his body. So how'd you know he's buried then? Could be a situation where he's walking around like Elvis or Tupac. Everything is cleared up to go get my confirmation, shipping information and everything. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do. Like, I've cleared out a space here, but the green screen I have is very limited. If I push that back against the wall to make more space, it's not going to cover the whole area of the camera, if you know what I mean. So there's just going to be a big... I don't know what I'm going to do there. I have to figure it out. Maybe I ditch this and just get like a big green sheet or something. I don't know. But this green screen was like ridiculously expensive. I kind of regret buying it. Donny got his for cheap. It's falling off a truck soon. I don't believe you, Donny. I've seen you posting your receipt on Twitter. I know you ordered it. I know it's on the way to you. And I'm happy for all of you, even though mine got cancelled. GameStop cancelled mine. Joshua Taylor says, see you on launch day, pumpkin out. I hope so. I hope so. I'm kind of worried I might not be there for launch day now. But fingers crossed, my issues get sorted out on Monday. Anyway, welcome to Touch and Tips. Bit of a show dedicated to PSVR2. And seeing as, we're on the precipice of the PSVR2 launch and there is quite a lot to talk about. There's quite a lot to get through. I forgot I can be highlighting your comments. Sorry about that. Mega Devil Bird says, all I know is then GameStop charlatans took my €605 and I'm still waiting on my confirmation email. Are you an Irish person too? Mega Devil Bird? They didn't even take mine. I got an email Friday morning saying your order for PSVR2 has been cancelled. I sent them a message on Facebook saying, what's going on? What did you do? Where is my PSVR2? I was the first person in Ireland to order this shit day one. November, whenever it was. They got back and said there's an issue with capturing your payment. So I had my payment was PayPal. And of course my PayPal is set up that my total was 600 and something euro estimates, but it was split between dollars and euros. So that's where the issue was. I needed to unify them all into euro. And if I had done that, there wouldn't be an issue. But I didn't do that. And I feel bad about that. Decepticon is here. He says, oh yeah, that goatee. What do you think? What do you think of this? I don't like it at all. I hate it. Let me tell you, it looks way better when there's a bright light shining on my face. But it really shows off how fat I am. I find like here, you can see it here. The jawline is just, there's no jawline. I'm just a fucking blob here. Indeed, mi amigo, says Mega Devil Bird, a common Irish phrase. So I know for real that he's a true Irishman like myself. Decepticon says, just go stone cold and shave the head. Maybe. I've gone this far. I mean, it's practically shaved everywhere else except the top. His girl shaved him clean for the private nighttime stuff. Uh-oh. Lip loop. Oh, I thought he was talking about my audio, but he means the lip loop. Okay, I get what he means. Zombie Andre. How you doing, Zombie Andre? Hello, Petrifying Pumpkins. Hello to you too. And welcome. Jeremiah says, I'm a fan of the goatee, but I rock it as well. So maybe some bias. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying I prefer the full shebang. I know goatees suit some people, even maybe a soul patch can suit some people, but maybe not me, is what I mean. Just go a stash. I don't know if I can pull that off. Maybe if I could do like a curly one like this, but I don't know how to do that. The handlebar stash, yeah. I don't know. I've never let it grow so long. Like, I don't know what its limits, I don't know how powerful it is. Anyway, nobody's here to listen to me talk about my shitty facial hair. You probably want to talk about PSVR 2 news, perhaps, and the happenings and the goings-ons of the PSVR 2. And obviously the most important thing, I mean, it's a couple of days old. I'm not hot in the beast on this one, but PSVR 2 review embargoes have lifted, not just for the console itself, but for Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Call of the Mountain, but also a few other launch games as well. Although interestingly, it seemed like only Horizon seemed to get like proper reviews. But we'll get into that in a sec. What did you think of the reviews in general? I mean, this was not just for VR enthusiasts, although the people like Gamertag he got a review out. I think Nathan has one now. I don't know if he has a review yet, but so there is some VR people who had it, but for the majority of the reviews were like, like the thumbnail suggests, the unevolved flat ape picking up this alien technology, and us, we know what the technology does. We can see that you put your fingers here, but they're like putting their dicks in and they're licking us and they don't know what to do. and they're complaining because they don't know what to do. In particular, The Verge. I know you've probably seen this on Twitter or whatever. I posted that picture on Twitter. Let me get it up, actually. Let me get it up because it's egregious. Egregious. Decepticon. Somebody get a dictionary for Decepticon so he knows what I'm saying. This one. This one right here. It might help if I let you see as well. Where's browser? There it is. Look at this image that The Verge put up. Now this is their thumbnail for their video review. The PSVR2 has one single, what is it, 3.5, 4.5 meter length cable? Something like that. It's very long. And they're putting this out. And you know the worst part is that if you actually watch the video, they praise us. You know, the majority of the video is praise. But the thumbnail makes it look like a disaster. And the title is, you know, future tech rooted in the past or tethered to the past. So, you know, clickbait. Clickbait. These are supposed to be, you know, the top end professional journalists and, you know, amateur YouTubers are making them look like clickbait artists, basically. But then you had your IGNs, you know, and they gave it a 9 out of 10. And of course, they had some niggles and issues, nitpicks, including, you know, a concern about a lack of games. Even though everyone, not just them, but everyone seemed to ignore that Gran Turismo 7 and Resident Evil 8 are going to be there day one. Now, I know for whatever reason, they weren't able to test those out. So they're going to be playing them at the same time everyone else, basically, except for Gran Turismo, which comes out one day beforehand. But more or less, they get them at the same time we do. But because of that, because they didn't get it earlier, it's like, oh, that's not part of the launch lineup. And the ones who did mention them, the few that did bring them up, were like, oh, these are old games. And it's like, come on. Resident Evil 4 on the Quest was an old game. But when it came out, it was like a killer app, basically, you know. So that kind of annoying shit like that. However, to cuss IGN some slack, a 9 out of 10, I think is I'm happy with that score, you know. And IGN are the big one. The big one. Let me get some comments here. I was ranting a little bit. Matty Fat Backcat says, your haircut looks good though. Thank you very much. I think I've made my sexual lovemaking partner feel bad because I've gone on about how she's ruined the beard. However, she did a good job on the top. I'm happy enough with that. Handlebar stash would be impressive, but am I worthy of it? You know, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just questioning my ability to pull it off. Just quickly, can I ask you, is this playing 1080 60 for you? If anyone can confirm that. Matty Fat Backcat says, I've watched a good 15 hours of reviews. I know that day it came out, I had the boys, I was minding them while they were playing with the toys over there, and I was like, go away. And then I was putting on review after review after review on the TV downstairs and just overdosing. And the worst thing is I felt like I didn't really learn anything new per se. I mean, they went into more detail. Oh, the eye tracking. Everyone's kind of gushing about the eye tracking, which I liked. Like they show you the setup in a bit more detail, but it's like not really anything there I didn't know, obviously, except for the games. They went into more details about Call of the Mountain. I know more about that now. Fozzie says, or just a small patch under your Oh, Fozzie, I don't think you're allowed to have that kind of mustache anymore. Are you allowed to have a mustache like that? The only 2 people I know, well, 3 people I know with that mustache, 2 of them were dictators. QW, what's the IPT range of PSVR2? I actually did look that up. I looked that up after you asked last time, and I could not find anywhere like a specific measurement. And then I watched GT's review for PSVR2, which went live today. His was laser. He wanted to go into more detail about like how long the charge lasted and all this kind of stuff. And by the way, he said it depended on the game. It was not the same. each time. I think he tested it 3 different times, so it's dependent on the game, but it was like 4 to 5 hours, I think he said. But yeah, he said there's no specific information on that either. So I'm sorry, QW, I don't know. I'm hoping Sony will, give that information out soon. But yeah, or maybe Digital Foundry. Like, I don't know how you figure that out. Can they test this? Can they measure it somehow? I don't know. I do not know. Donnie's laughing at the flat apes. Decepticon clickbait article. I mean, it's the thumbnail. It's just the picture that's the clickbait. Like, the actual review itself was fine. I mean, the whine about the price and the whine about the wire and blah blah blah. But the majority of the actual review was positive. You know, awesomeness awaits, and it really does. It really does await very very soon. The Verge website uses Microsoft Web Service. Well, there you go. There you go. In the back pocket, they got that Tom Warren gentleman as well. He's definitely an Xbox. He bleeds green, is what I'm trying to say. Decepticon over here with the poignant journalism is dead. Everything is now opinion page. Well, in fairness, when it comes to reviews, I mean, it's always going to be opinion, you know. Some people, actually, this is something I've noticed that I was hoping I wasn't going to see, but motion sickness was coming up more than I was hoping for. Especially after the previews came out for Gran Turismo 7, and basically there was like very minimal motion sickness going on there, and that's like racing around fast tracks and cars and stuff like that. So I was thinking, okay, you know, they sorted it out, but it seems like it does depend on the game. I think Kayak VR was doing it for some people. So I'm sad to hear that. A little bit sad to hear that. I mean, it's not going to affect me, obviously. I'm a member of the Evolved Master Race. Mega Devil Bird says, fake news. Some serious Quest fanboys slating tech they haven't tried. They're out there. They're out there shitting on us, but we know the truth. Matty Fat Batcat says, would you prefer Horizon to be 3-hour game, but 30% climbing, 30% fights, 30% exploring, and 10% cinematics, instead of 70% climbing and 8 hours? Well, that would be 1 hour of fighting. And the way it is now, I think it's more than 1 hour of fighting. So I'd probably go with the way it is now. I probably prefer it that way. However, I still want a more even breakdown and 8 hours. I want my cake, and I want to ease it too. I don't understand that expression. Of course, if you're going to have cake, you're going to want to ease it as well. I don't know why people say that. You can't have your cake and ease it. Well, why do I want a cake then? I don't get that. Anyway, I'll go into more detail about the reviews in a sec. I do have notes taken down, just reading through the comments real quick. Ali Boy says, Papa Pump. She looks like she has a hard time tying her shoes. Yeah, a lot of the replies were kind of funny of... you know, those infomercial people who are like trying to lift things and they're just shaking things all over the place and spilling cups of tea and whatever because they can't do a simple task unless they buy whatever product it is they want to sell you. Killer Sam says, yes, set quality to 10 ACP. Thank you, Killer Sam, for letting me know. I do appreciate that. Matty Fat Batcat says, do you think there will be any surprise game drops on release, or what we've got now is all there'll be? I mean, there's some rumors going around, which I don't know if they're worth, you know, if there's anything behind them, but there's some people who seem to think there's going to be something there at launch. Some people have convinced themselves there'll be an Astrobot type situation based on the fact that there was one for the PS camera, there was one for the PS4, there's one for the PS5, there's one for the PSVR1. So basically any hardware that Sony have released since that PS4, they've done so with like an Astrobot game to show it off. So people are kind of thinking that even if it was a small little thing, it would be good. No Hitler stashes and 1080. Nice, thank you. What about the Ps? Or not the Ps. What about the FPSs? Are we at the 60s? Is there a way for you to tell? Firewall release date, please. I know they've confirmed 2023. That's the most recent thing they did, even though it was already confirmed by PlayStation. But First Contact officially, when they revealed the key art, that was the first time they themselves said 2023. So it is coming this year. Donny, the total cost of PS5 slash PSVR2 is much lower than the cost of a VR PC and headset by far. Exactly, Donny. It really, really is. And look who it is. Cousin Badger in the house. He's here talking to me at 20 past 2 in the AM on a Saturday. He could have a few pints on him. We'll see what the crack is. How you keeping, Cousin Badger? Decepticon says, I was good with Kayak. I don't think it's the graphics that fixed that. You just need to play a lot and fan on. Are you one of the people who got like a broomstick and tied the controllers to each end so you can get a proper paddle situation going on there? I'm thinking about it. I think with the hoops of the PSVR 2, it might be, something that could be doable. Mega Devil Bird says Polish Paul showed a review from some idiots that was comparing the Quest 2 to PSVR 2, which was laughable. I'm a PSVR vet and moved to Quest 2, and I can honestly say I'm excited for the next gen PSVR. Listen, the Quest 2 did some cool things. The fact that it's standalone, very cool. It has some cool, the screen high resolution, has some cool social apps and whatnot. But at the end of the day, there's a mobile processor in that thing. It was holding. Imagine gaming being held back by the Switch. Imagine whatever the Switch could do, that's what the PS5 and the Xbox could do. That's what it felt like for a long time. But now we got the PSVR 2 coming out, and hopefully we're breaking free from the shackles. I'm not sure it's going to sell as much as the Quest 2 did. That's the problem. But hopefully it will when the games start rolling out. Ali Boy almost dropped his soda. You should make a new infomercial bit about that. Exactly. Send me in the clip. Phasmo will be the mind blower if that drops. I mean, Phasmo is a game I really, really want, more than any maybe from PC VR. But looking at it, it looks janky as fuck. I don't know if you sell a lot of headsets from like a trailer. People need to kind of experience that. And there's a lot of people who won't play like Resident Evil in VR because it's too scary. So Phasmophobia will be like, no way for a lot of those people. And look who it is. Look, this man paid for my charging station, which I bought last night. Don't tell anyone about that. But he did. So thanks once again for that generosity, Mr. Tradition. He's lurking. 60s, says Mega Devil Bird. I don't know what that's in relation to, unfortunately. Had someone throwing water on me, says Decepticon. I've got no idea what's going on here. The context is lost. You guys see the Cactus Cowboy trailer. Now, what's this? I've never seen such behavior in the war room before. I have not seen Cactus Cowboy, I don't think. Is this a game? Decepticon says Phasmo was scariest I've played so far. Those first few nights of playing, I know. And even with people. But imagine playing solo as well. I don't know if you've ever played solo, but I can imagine that would be fucking terrifying too. Also, I guess Pavlov is going to just post up on launch because there's no pre-order. I searched the store. You can find it if you search the name. I don't think it's listed normally, is it? I could be wrong. But yeah, you cannot pre-order that game yet. And again, that was another game that nobody was talking about in the reviews. I was like, that's a multiplayer first-person genre covered right there. But none of the reviewers wanted to talk about that come on day one. Solo is terrifying. That's what I want to see. Massey Fat Diecast, I noticed in the reviews that you can't actually play room scale games unless you have the room. That was a question I was going to bring up later on. Although you can fake your room scale and push the boundaries beyond your limits, but most won't figure that out. Interesting. And there's another interesting thing about Horizon. We'll talk about that. Remind me to talk about that. Cactus Cowboy Game says release date the 21st. Trailer was amazing. This is a PSVR 2 game? Hold on, we look this up. We can look this up. Cactus Cowboy. Damn, Pumpkins is streaming. Let's watch that. Well, viewer. How about just a trailer, please? I can't type. Oh, my laptop feels hot. That's that 1080p coming in. You're telling me this looks amazing? 9 months ago, 2 years ago. 1 month ago. Alright, I'll watch this. Oh my god. Can you hear this? I don't think you can hear this. I've muted everything. Hold on a sec. Let me unmute desktop audio, I think. Does that work?
So I became a cactus. However,
oh wait, I have seen this.
That was not what I was expecting.
This looks familiar. I like the flamethrower. I'll give it that. The old Geneva war crimes with the flamethrower. I do enjoy that.
We were sitting here and had a quiet conversation when there suddenly was a loud bang, and out of nowhere houses exploded and blood. Don't touch it.
I mean, it looks like Honor and Doozy D-Day got a Cactus mod. Who was it who brought this before my attention? I've never seen such behavior in the war room, says. Trailer was amazing. I'm just going to say one thing to you, war room. Please increase your standards. Your standards are in the gutter. Put them up here, okay? You've got Quest standards. Alright, this is PSVR2 we're talking about now, okay? Zipcon says, a lot of the room scale games, if you don't have a big space, it'll shrink down the play space. I'm kind of worried about the, like, I think I have enough room, but the green screen changes everything. So with room scale games, I might have to turn the camera off. Which, I don't know. Maybe that's not a big deal for anyone, but streaming etiquette is that you should have your camera on to increase your engagement and whatnot. Trailer was amazing, he repeats. Well, we saw different trailers. It must be a different Cactus game. Alt Action Gamer, how you doing? Says, hi Pumpkin. Don't know if you remember, I mentioned No Man's Sky getting an update in one of your recent streams. Well, I'm going to talk about No Man's Sky in a bit. It's one of the topics. Actually, I think it's in the title as well. But it does look like you were right. It looks like, I don't know if it'll come this week, but there's a good chance it will. Let's watch Pumpkin streaming. Exactly. Inception. Yellow Gorse, how you doing? He says, hi Mr. Pumpkins. Can't see your lovely face behind the chat. What? Maybe move to a different corner. What chat? There's no chat on my face. Is this like a... Are you like watching this on your phone sideways or something and then the chat is blocking that way? But listen, if it's... I'll be accommodating. I'll be a gentleman. And I will... Because then I'll block the... I can't go here because I'll block the people commenting. Then I'll block the webcam or the browser. I will not be accommodating. I will not be a gentleman. I'm sorry. I'm out of corners. I mean, I could go to the top corner, I suppose, but then I'm just floating there like an idiot. You know? Yellow Gorse. Mega Devil Bird says, I found myself using big screen on Quest 2 for live football. Well, that's exactly the kind of stuff that Quest excelled at, and I hope that PSVR gets that stuff too. For live football, boxing, and social movies, but as a VR gaming setup, it's very limited unless you have a beefy PC. $1,000 for quality VR on console is a steal, and I don't even like calling it $1,000. If you're like the majority of people are going to have a PS5. You know, and the majority of gamers, they're either going to have a PS5 or an Xbox, basically. And PS5 is the bigger segment of that. So a lot of people, you know, it's not something you need to consider. Like the PS5 is a given for a lot of people. But yes, technically it is right. Because I'm kind of just being a bitch. Donnie having a great lol there for himself. Donnie, I'm so happy that I can entertain you so easily. I wish I could make everyone laugh like this. Mus says that game is pushing the PS5 to its limits. Where is War Room gone? He's gone awful quiet all of a sudden. Maybe a mod blocked him. Mr. Murray dropped an emoji, exactly, the snowflake emoji. It's in the top. I've not gotten to any topics yet. So I'm just kind of chatting with you for a bit, which is cool too, because we're in the final few days. As Muzzleton says, only 4 days left. It's insane. It still doesn't feel real, I don't think. Muzzley, what's going on here? Decepticon's drunk. Alt Action Gamer says maybe more variety and a refresh to planet biomes. Just the fact that, well, okay, we can talk about the No Man's Sky thing now. Seeing as we're bringing it up now, I'll just do it because I'll just keep going back and forth to it anyway. So, I think he's Sean Murray. Oh, I've retweeted it, so I'll just find it that way. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. There he is. There he is. So, I mean, not much to go on here. It is from Sean Murray himself. But this is what he does. He'll tweet an emoji that has some kind of connection to the next updates. And that update usually comes out not too long after the emoji. Now, I don't know the specifics of, like, is it usually that same week? Or is it 2 weeks? Or whatever. But considering PSVR2 is launching this week, it could be coinciding with that. However, obviously, PSVR2 is not going to be the focus of this mod update, because keep in mind, No Man's Sky is like on every single platform, so they can't just focus on virtual reality and leave other people out in the cold. No pun intended. So this snowflake here must have some kind of maybe a big weather overhaul or something like that. Maybe blizzards or new environmental hazards or something like that. It could be a million different things based on that. But yeah, excitement for the No Man's Sky community must be at an all-time high right now, especially those looking forward to PSVR2. Matty Fat Batcat says Giant Bomb's playthrough at 46:55. You can see he gets shut down trying to play 2MD without this play space. That is the American football game, isn't it? Giant Bomb playthrough. All right, we'll look it up. We'll look it up. I'm going to search for Giant Bomb PSVR2 and hopefully Giant Bomb PSVR2. Yes, it's long. Let me muse this for a sec. So you said, what did you say? 46:55. Let's start here.
Star Wars it's got some fun stuff like drilling and you're like I don't know if you're like a scrap trader or something, of like putting you into that world. Here, I gotta actually show this one off. Hang on.
Here we go.
Oh.
Yeah. 2MD football.
Boom. Okay. You're currently using a room scale game or app. To continue using it, you need a play area that's at least 6'7" by 6'7" so that you can move around.
See?
That's
room.
I wonder if it's like time between games, maybe?
So you saying he cheats us here? Is he like go around us? I don't know. But yeah, that's a bit concerning because I was going to bring up that with What the Bass. I think it was kind of funny who brought up that they couldn't play it at home. They had to bring us into the office because that was where they had the space to play What the Bass. And What the Bass is one of the review games that I do have. I got the code for that. So it's like the first game I downloaded for PSVR2. So now I'm worried. Do I have 6 foot? I mean, I think I should. I'm 6 foot exactly myself. So if I can lie that way and that way, I should be okay. And I think I can. But again, the green screen is going to be the problem for me as a streamer. What's the last thing I got up? Alt Action Gamer says, thanks, I forced your hand, lol. No worries. No worries. This is, not too structured. It's fine. We'll go loosey-goosey. Alt Action Gamer says, No Man's Sky will own on PSVR2. It was good on PSVR1. Like, taking off from the planet and looking behind you, that was insane. So it's going to be even better. And it's a free update, so, you can't complain. And 5XL, Mr. Oh shit himself, Mr. Drops the Chicken Soup, is here. How you doing, 5XL? The trailer I saw was different. Well, it better have been different. If you post it in the chat, I'll watch it. If you're able to post links, maybe like register it as spam. I don't know. I reckon update trailer on Monday. I hope so. But if it is, it's probably like VR2 will probably be like just one part of the trailer, if you know what I mean. I'm sure there'll be plenty of features in it, plenty of updates. Decepticon says there's been stir of the dreams, peeps, wanting new dreams. So the bug in the ear is out there. Decepticon, have anyone ever told you talk like you're from Twin Peaks sometime? Sometimes. You know that little man who dances in the room with the red curtains? There's been stir of the dreams, peeps, wanting you. You know, he talks backwards. I can't talk backwards, obviously. That's basically what you were doing there. Emilio Rodriguez. Sorry, Emilio. So stoked for Gran Turismo 7, Firewall Ultra, Resident Evil 8, Behemoth. That's another one I'm kind of iffy on Behemoth. I know it's from a good developer. The cinematic trailer looked excellent. The only thing that's worrying me about that is that it's a Quest game. It's running natively on a Quest. So, you know, how much is that going to hold it back? And then there's Resident Evil 4 as well. That's just the tip of the iceberg for AAA PSVR2 games. Smiley face. I am in the same boat as you, Emilio, and I really, really, really hope Resident Evil 4 is the full thing. Ali Boy says, I miss my PSVR so much every day. Feels twice as long. Can't take in the hype. Well, don't worry, Ali. Just a few more. Hang in there for a few more days. What would you play if you had it? Your PSVR 1, I mean. I've packed mine up. It's right over there. I could play it if I want, but I have no drive. When the PSVR 2 is this close, it's like, you know, get that away from me. Get it away from me. You should have been gone in November by rights. You've no right to be here. When I threw the Move controllers into the bag, it felt like a weight was lifted, you know? And then my pre-order got cancelled. What multiplayer game are we all going to see you go first into on launch? My plan was to play Horizon first, then Resident Evil 8, then Pavlov, which would have been my first multiplayer game, and then Gran Turismo 7. However, if it arrives here, and I'm able to do it straight away, if I'm able to stream it as soon as I get it, that means I'm probably going to be waiting for the controllers to charge. So it might be Gran Turismo 7 I play first, and maybe then people watching want to like race me or whatever, and in that case, that will be the first multiplayer game. So it all depends on how it's going to shake out. But if all goes to plan, Pavlov will be the first one I play. But we'll wait and see. By the way, do you think in Gran Turismo 7, when you're racing against like friends and whatever, if you look out the window, do you think you'll see the heads moving? I hope that's like accurately tracked. That'd be funny. Hawk107 says, I still want to know if you can flip the middle finger with the Sense controllers because Eurogamer couldn't. You can't do it in Horizon. But that's like a deliberate thing they put in there to not let you do that. However, because this is like a peace symbol in America and whatever, it's actually this in Ireland and the UK, this is like fuck you, you know. For this is peace. This is fuck you. But you can do the fuck you in Horizon. So for us, we got that, you know. And actually, if you watch Ian Higton's review of Horizon Call of the Mountain, he's like doing a slow motion dive past the big dinosaur and he's like giving it the fingers as he's going past. That's quite good. War Room says No Man's Sky, which I don't think is day one, unless this trailer confirms day one, but I'm not sure No Man's Sky is day one. Gran Turismo 7 and Pavlov, they are indeed day one. Mega Devil Bird says big screen will be a game changer for social interaction, but I can't see Sony allowing public rooms, which is a shame. There's some cool public rooms with great content, but copyrights, exactly, they'd be sued out the ass. That's the worst part of the PSVR 2. It's this walled-in garden that Sony controls, whereas PC is like the wild, wild west. The problem, well, the benefit then is that, you know, it's more usually more optimized on PlayStation and more, premium feeling or whatever. And if it should work, it does work. Where on PC, it's the opposite. Swings and roundabouts. Alt Action Gamer says, yeah, I used a tape measure to measure my living room earlier. Just about got 6 foot. There you go. Well, you need the 7 inches as well. You need the 7 inches as well, apparently, not just the 6 foot. So you got to find an extra 7 inches somewhere. There's a smell of reptilians in the air. It's Mr. Jackboss. He's here. How you doing, Jackboss? I'm trying to cut down words so it's not too long. Didn't read. Listen, I'll always read whatever you're trying to say. Decepticon, don't worry about it. Decepticon is Yoda. Rod is. Shut up. Saints and Sinners or Firewall. I sold the aim as well. Oh, damn. I couldn't let go of the aim. But I'm not going to let go of the headset either. I'm going to have it as like, an ornament. Decepticon says, what if it's a fuck up and you end up getting the PSVR2 anyway? And then have another ordered? Well, I only have the funds in that PayPal for one. So if I get 2, that means I got a free one. In which case, there'll be a giveaway on the channel. Aren't you lucky? You might not get one until Christmas. It's possible. It's possible. Unlikely. 5XL says, Blood and Truth let you flip the bird. So if there's a sequel, I'm sure we'll be able to flip them as well. I'd say Blood and Truth probably had a higher age rate, and I think Horizon Call of the Mountain is like, E for everyone or some shit like that. Maybe teen. I don't know. Important is digging the Cosby sweater. You see? And then etc. etc. Decepticon would normally be here and he'd take over and talk about pudding pops. Ali Boy says also for Gran Turismo 7, I think because of the customization for the drivers gives hope to seeing other players, especially for convertibles. Yes, and the Formula 1 cars. And is there like go-karts in Gran Turismo 7? There was in Gran Turismo Sport. Alt Action Gamers, Day 1 games, No Man's Sky, Resident Evil 8, and Gran Turismo 7. I really hope No Man's Sky is Day 1 now. I'll shut up now and let you get on with things. Thank you, Massey Fat. But listen, I'm enjoying the chats, don't worry about it. PSVR on top of the Christmas tree. Ali Boy sold all my old gear. I plan to save up for a new wheel as well. It took me days to let it all go. But it was a young guy that was hyped for it. Oh, he was, okay. That's nice. It's a nice, happy story there. Decepticon's Bill Cosby impersonation is gold. It is. It's also suspicious. Why does he have such a perfect Bill Cosby impersonation? Let's start asking the questions, I think we should. Let's start getting into the topics properly. I mean, I already went into PSVR 2, like reviews in general, but, I took notes. Clickbase from The Verge. Ignoring Resident Evil 8 and Gran Turismo 7. Oh yeah, some tracking issues. So this is something I've been hearing. Even from like trusted ones like Gamertag. He mentioned that the tracking, while it is a massive leap over the moves, there is still, it's not perfect. There are some issues where you've got the 4 cameras here, but they're kind of front facing ish. They don't go enough back here so that when your hands do go back here or whatever, there is a possibility where you can lose the tracking and it can cause frustration. Now he did say, says, it's gonna be it's still fine. They're still good. They work fine most of the time. But not perfect. However, when the Quest, I believe, launched with their controllers, it was the same kind of thing, and then updates came out and it improved the algorithm, so it knew where it was more frequently and better. So there's hope for that too on PlayStation VR 2. Eye tracking praised by everyone. Another one, GT mentioned God rays, and the reason I brought this up is because he's the only one I think. Now I haven't watched every single review, but he brought up the Fresnel. I just want to say Fresnel. Let me say Fresnel lenses, and the big thing about them is that the bad thing about Fresnel lenses is that they supposedly have God rays. But then Sony have this patent that their Fresnel lenses will not have God rays. But then GT says, yes, there is God rays. However, he's the first person I've seen to say that. And for those thinking, you know, Pancake lenses should be there instead, the disadvantage with Pancake lenses is that they don't let enough brightness through. So Sony made the decision that they would rather have the brightness than to have the superior lenses. So there was a trade-off made there. Also, we got to play Firewall Ultra. Exactly. Yes, we do, but we're probably going to be waiting a few months for that, by the sounds of things. Importon. How are you doing, Importon? Says, how bad will our tracking be with AIM stocks? How bad will our tracking be with AIM stocks? You mean the third-party stuff that you can stick on? As long as they're not obscuring each other, you know, if you hold them at an angle or something, you should be okay. I think. If that was a serious question, I can never tell with you, Important. Hawk107 says, but Resident Evil A's has a butt slot for guns. I'm sorry, what? Resident Evil A's has a butt slot for guns. You mean a butt stock? Means it will cause track issues. I'm not sure what you mean there. Do you mean like you're holding the two? And that because one is in front of the other, it's going to be issues? Decepticon says, do you think that people will spam the grenades and firewall just being able to look at you? No, the reason I don't think that is because you have to equip the grenades as a separate item now. You can't just be shooting, tap a button, and then the grenade flings out like you could in Zero Hour. Now you have to equip it separately, and when you have the grenade equipped, I think you're going to be vulnerable unless you're able to hold a handgun as well. But even with the handgun, you're going to be more vulnerable than you would be with an assault rifle or whatever. And of course, you know, maybe once it is equipped, then you can like rapidly fling out two. I don't know, maybe there's got like a slight cooldown, if you know what I mean. In between throws, we'll have to wait and see how they do it. Ali Boy says, I think they will make Pro Viewer controllers with cameras in them, but it would probably be at the end of the gen, so we get a PSVR1 situation with PS6. Do you mean you'll be able to use them on PSVR2 and PSVR3 hypothetically or whatever, like a new aim controller or something? Mega Devilbird did bring up something I was going to bring up as well, I think. The next thing, yes, some mention of Slight Screen Door and Slight Mura. I don't know if it was just GT who said that. I think I heard somebody else say that too. But they were saying you have to be looking for it. If you look for it, you will see these things. However, if you're not looking for them, or if you don't really know what they are, then it's going to be something that you're not going to really notice. Well, maybe I'm wrong about GT saying God rays then, but I'm nearly sure he did say Fresnel means that yes, there's God rays. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. I don't want to be slandering GT over here if he didn't say that. Maybe I'm getting mixed up with a different review. But as far as I remember, he's kind of the only one who brought up the Fresnel lenses to any kind of a degree. Like major degree at least. Ali Boy says, also Borderlands 2 VR was a beautiful game. With the aim controller, I could see a good port. Well, how about Borderlands 3? Important says, I've tried Pancake lenses. They're not that great. Well, there you go. Some people seem to believe they're the future and that you future-proof the VR by having Pancake lenses, but honestly, have not got a clue. Could not tell you what a Pancake lens is. All I know is that it doesn't have the ridges of the Fresnel lenses. Rogue is here all the way from Australia. In it, bruv, as they say in Australia. How you doing, Rogue? Nice to see you. Donnie says, once PSVR2 is in our hands, a patch or two will be needed for fine-tuning, which is expected for most new hardware. Exactly, Donnie. Donnie with the words of wisdom. 5XL says, if Borderlands was ported to PSVR2, they would need to add co-op if I'm going to... Exactly, 5XL. Co-op was badly missing in Borderlands 2. If in fact, I think I played that game once, and because I wasn't a fan of it flat, so it never got its hooks in me. And I think co-op, if co-op was there, it would have changed things. There's rumors of 3 going VR. Borderlands 3, okay. I haven't heard those rumors, but that's interesting. 2 was real good. 5XL says, I wonder if they'll do hand tracking like the Quest does. They'll do hand tracking. You mean outside of finger tracking on the controller, like just the camera's looking at the hands and tracking that way? They could. Rogue just got back from EB Games, which I don't know what's that, some kind of Australian store perhaps. Whereas EB, what would that stand for? Extreme Beasts. Traded in less than a third of my games for 686. God damn. Horizon Bundle 276. What do you mean Horizon Bundle 276? You didn't. Oh, you mean that's what it cost you after you traded it in? What's the total price? I know your Australian dollars are fucking crazy. Your dingo dollary dues. That was like $1,000 probably just for the bundle, was it? Justin DeBolt, how you doing? FOV, is it noticeable? 110 degrees. According to some reviews, it is an improvement, but then others are like it's a slight improvement. It's definitely a much more, I think it's like 20 degrees on the Quest, so if you're used to the Quest, it'll be more noticeable. However, if you're on the Index, I believe that's 140 degrees, so it's less than that. It depends on what you're used to. But better than PSVR 2. Or 1, I should say. Alt Action Gamer says, not long now till I'm collecting alien animal feces. Feces? Are you trying to say species? On a far away planet. What's a feces? Some kind of No Man's Sky creature, no doubt. And speaking of creatures, spiders. Important says, reviews do make a good point. Not enough AAAs. Just think how much better the lineup would be if Quest never existed. I think the AAAs are coming. I think 3 AAAs at launch is not bad. I think that's comparable to the PS5 launch itself. When I got the PS5, it was Demon Souls remake was the big one for me. And that was a remake of a PS3 game. Whereas here, I've got Resident Evil 8, I've got Gran Turismo 7, I've got Horizon Call of the Mountain. It's not bad for a start. However, Sony do need to, get the thumb out and start, getting showcases out there, telling us about GTA coming to VR, Red Dead Redemption, stuff like that. Like, really get us on board. And by us, I mean mainstream. We're already on board, obviously. Where's them AI created avatars with hand tracking? Man, I really want AI. I want AI integrated into games. Like just chatting away to them. And then fighting them and stuff. No Cap, my guy, nice name, says PSVR 2 is so impressive for consoles. I'm optimistic in how Sony will approach PSVR 3 plus PS6. Well, hopefully PSVR 2 is successful enough that Sony will do a PSVR 3 plus a PS6. There's also the chance that maybe PSVR 2 could just run on a PS6. I mean, it's got some decent tech in there. I mean, it'll probably need to be replaced by then, but it could do for a few years until the PS3 comes out, PSVR 3 comes out. Uh-oh. Alright. Let me know if you hear a screaming baby in the background. Nearly 1k for the bundle in Dingo Dollary dues. It's crazy. JL says you really want that PSVR 2, Rogue. He does. However, he probably gets paid a lot more than we do. It's all the same. It works out the same. Mordaki says I just pre-ordered and selling my Quest. That's what we like to hear. Somebody give fist bump Mordaki. That's what we like to hear. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Ali Boy says would love a full game of LA Noire in VR instead of the case files. Listen, if we're getting a Rockstar game, LA Noire is like the bottom of my list, probably. I still want it, but I'll take everything else before that. So you ended up paying about $190. That's not bad, but you had to give up. At what cost? You gave up something. A third of your games. Sounds like a lot. JL got an email that my PSVR2 shipped yesterday. Congratulations. Congratulations. You have a son. Oops. Mordaki, I hope they announce Half-Life Alyx for the fall. I hope so too. That's the one. That's another thing as well. A lot of the reviewers were like, oh, it doesn't have Half-Life Alyx. It has ports, but it doesn't have Half-Life Alyx. Without realizing the irony that Half-Life Alyx coming to PSVR2 would be a port. So if it came to, I'm sure if Alyx comes to PSVR2, they'll be like, oh, it's a port. Okay, it's a good game, but it's a port. They move the goalposts. There's just no pleasing some of them, Getting frustrated thinking about it now. Mega Devil says, after seeing footage of Kayak VR, I would love the devs of Catch and Release to make a new version of what I think was a masterpiece. Beautiful game and nice soundtrack. I think every single developer who's made a PSVR 1 game has to be thinking, and even if it was moderately successful, even if it was a complete failure, look at Moss 2. I think Moss 2 only sold a couple of thousand units on PSVR 1. So that they see PSVR 2 as a chance, like a rebirth, another chance. I think it's silly that if they don't do it, any of these games. This is the beginning. Superfly AF, how are you doing? What's up, Pumpkin? What have we got here? We have a ghost and we got some love hearts. Thank you very much, Superfly. I hope you're keeping well. Rui Saravai. Every time, Rui, I mess up your name. Saraiva. Do you think PSVR 2 will eventually get proper home environment like Quest? I don't know. I just don't know with Sony. I was hoping something like that would be ready day one. But you never know. I mean, maybe they'll bring out like PlayStation Home 2, and that'll be like a PSVR 2 social experience. Like chat VR, I'd like to see some kind of specific PSVR menu. Or UI. Decepticon, when PSVR 2 comes, just write the Dear John and live on the parents' farm in a barn. What is this? Is he writing? He's on Chat GPT and he's asking it to write poetry. That's what he's doing. My currency is close. Yeah, Canadian dollars is also laughable. Ali Boy says, I think Hitman 3, with a lot more work, with the Fovea's rendering, could work well because people got mad about the game being blurry on PC. I think the worst part, though, was the controls, though, wasn't it? Screaming, baby. I don't hear any screaming, so I think we're good. Kingdom Come Deliverance would be insane. I mean, is there any game that wouldn't be better? Is there any first-person game, at least, that wouldn't be immediately better in VR? Rogue says mainly Switch games. Okay, that's fine. They don't count. But for some reason, they hold their value, so that was a good deal. Cyborg is back. Welcome back. Thumbs up. Hope you've been well. GTA 5 is going to be a PSVR 2 movement title. What about GTA 6? What if they announced GTA 6 as being from day one having PSVR 2 support? That's how you move titles. Headsets. That's how you move headsets. Sorry, I'm drunk. I'm drunk on PSVR 2. Problem is, we don't have a AAA open world as important. Not even an announcement, yes. No Man's Sky doesn't count. Explain to me why an infinite universe doesn't count important. No, you're right. You are right. We do need a big open world. And for me, it has to be a Rockstar open world, because nobody does open worlds that even come close to them. Zenith doesn't look too bad. No, it doesn't. There's actually a new trailer for that out. That could have been a topic. What is it they added? They added like new kind of like crafting things. Like you're able to like pickaxe at rocks and shit now, physically doing that kind of stuff, and a few other things as well. Mordaki says Moss was bundled, so they made out. Superflight with the wave. Daniel Dries, with his panties round his knees, says, I just bought a G29 wheel and a frame for GT7 VR. I'm so moist right now. Is the G29 the one with the proper feedback, the one that you want? because that sounds... I can't afford it. I can't be even thinking about it, but then I do start thinking about it. And I get a little bit moist. Oi, that Canadian slander is getting heavy, Doc. It's going to get a lot worse, Ali boy, the longer you stay around here with your square wheels and your flappy heads. Battlefield virtual reality, that's another one. And Call of Duty as well. I feel like a big battle royale game like Call of Duty Warzone. You know, back on the cans. What's this? Back on the GPT. Jameson is my drink, by the way. Damn, sipping on the whiskeys over here. Them deadly blue mountains. That's Coors. Could do it at Coors right now. Ice cold. GTA 6 on PSVR2 needs to happen, says Alt Action Gamer. No cap, my guy. Says, I look at PSVR2 like the PS2. PlayStation will dominate the VR landscape with quality AAA titles, plus indie titles. PSVR1 was the test, like PS1. That is my hope. My hope is that PSVR2 can have that leap like PSVR or PlayStation 2 did, and in terms of software. Because I like the library for PS1, but it was a lot more limited compared to PS2. But I really want Sony to like start throwing their own studios in there as well. I want The Last of Us in VR as well. You know, The Last of Us, Infamous, Killzone, Resistance, Warhawk. You know, they've got so many they could put in there. Muzz says, didn't they say a while back that one of the Rockstar teams was working on a VR game? Haven't heard anything about that in a long time. Yes, they did. A AAA virtual reality game. But I don't think it was a Rockstar team. It was like they were outsourcing it. And then not too long after that, a few months after that, the Quest announced Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So, while I don't know that's the same one, I assume that's what they were talking about. Even though, you know, would you call San Andreas a AAA game in 2023? I knew it, you're drunk, but I got your back. Thanks, Donnie. Get me a Coors. Hope the RoboCop game can also be played in VR. I forgot about that game. So many games I forget about. Like good looking flat games, and it's like I'm just so focused on PSVR 2 there's no room. Is Minecraft coming over to PSVR 2? It hasn't been confirmed, but then there's like Rec Room hasn't been confirmed either, but you just know it's going to happen. Although with Minecraft, you know, Sony and Microsoft are currently fighting each other legally, so maybe there's bad blood now and they won't do it. I don't know. Sorry for the coughing into the microphone. We have got a possibly Japanese or Chinese name that I cannot pronounce. GTA 6 will take another 10 years to make. Maybe that time VR will have enough users to convince them for viewer support. Well, listen, I can wait 10 years as long as maybe like GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 get VR updates in the meantime to keep me going, you know? Mag, yes. Man, that was such a criminally underrated game. Ali Boy says, good sir, I'm sure we can have a drink in some VR game. We probably can. You can drink in Rec Room, you can drink in what else? Drunken bar fights. Important says, I feel like Sony is putting this on us to make PSVR 2 successful, getting the word out, giving demos to friends and family, defending bad press, etc. They certainly are not. I don't understand what their marketing plan is. I really don't. Nick Jones says, how good is Lightbrick? Actually, that reminds me, I need to get in touch with the developers, like reach out and see if I can get a review copy for that one, because I've heard nothing but good things about that, and it's a roguelite. It's got like a basic-y kind of art style because it is running on Quest as well, I think. However, roguelite, first-person shooter, that's kind of unique. It's kind of like a mixture of Dark Souls and, you know, a roguelite Dark Souls with shooting, you know, your Call of Duties or whatever. And I've heard nothing but good things in reviews. Nick. Alleyway says, I want Sony to buy out Elder Scrolls as a franchise and let them have Call of Duty, but Warzone VR would be damn nice. It's going to be sad to see Elder Scrolls 6 not coming to PS5. Good Dog, Bad Dog in 4K. God damn. Foveas at rendering so I can see the tail wagging. Crystal clear 4K. No cap, my guy says, I agree with important TikTok and YouTube viral vids will do justice at least. Exactly. And hopefully now that, you know, it's just a one cable, you plug it out so you can bring it to a friend's house much easier. Someone who already has a PS5 and just stick it into theirs. There is something to be said for that. Let me get through this list again. Alright, so let's talk about Horizon Call of the Mountain. Shall we? Let me get a video playing of Horizon Call of the Mountain. Horizon review. 8 minutes long. Gonna muse us, loop us, full screen us, and then tab out, and then let you see us. No? Yes. Here we go. So, Horizon Call of the Mountain. I've made a video about this game a month or two ago. How, you know, basically I felt like this could be PSVR2's answer to Half-Life Alyx, and how in some ways I felt like it needed to be PSVR2's Half-Life Alyx, because if this got bad press, if reviewers were like, meh, then all of a sudden PSVR2 itself is going to get a lot of bad press. And while I don't think it's bad, it's like 79 on Metacritic, which is green. It's like a positive overall review score. I still think it was kind of more disappointing that it didn't reach the heights that I was hoping for. And we've already talked about this earlier on, how, you know, the main issue is that it's 70% climbing in this game is what you're doing, and then only 30% fighting and crafting and, you know, chatting to NPCs or whatever else you do in the game. So much climbing. I don't know why they did this. But yeah. But then there is other people who, you know, there has been like 10 out of 10 reviews for this game. Because I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on this, because I did tweet this out basically saying, you know, I'm a little bit disappointed it's not the Half-Life Alyx reception, you know. Not going to be in the Game of the Year conversation, basically. And some people, you know, interpreted that as me shitting on the game, and they're like posting scores like, this place gave it a 10 out of 10, this place gave it a 10 out of 10. I'm really looking forward to playing this. It's going to be my first one. I'm sure I'm going to like it a lot. I'm not trying to shit in it. It's just that I really wanted it to be, you know, the Half-Life Alyx, to get the casuals talking about us, you know. And it looks like it's not going to be. But yeah, like I said, there was some 10 out of 10. Some reviews were like, this is the Super Mario 64 of VR, you know, that moment where 3D became like a big thing. Is there a lot of stutter going on in that video? Maybe I shouldn't be full screening this. Maybe my laptop can't take this. We'll see. So yeah, still a good showcase for PSVR2. I mean, it does show off. That's what it is. That's what this game was designed for. It was designed to be the first game you play. I think that's why there's not as much combat. I think they don't want you to overwhelm you. Like climbing is like an easier kind of thing, less stressful. They show off all the haptics in the controllers. The finger tracking is supported. Eye tracking is supported. You can even have the aim assist for the arrows with your eyes. That's actually on by default. So if you don't want that, go into the settings and make sure you turn it off. Which I think is what I will do, because I don't want it to be too easy. Visually beautiful. Yeah, I think this is lagging me up too much. I'm going to take it out of full screen. The RAM did nothing for this in 1080p. Let's hope that's enough. But yeah, the visuals at least are on par with Alyx, according to most. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about Horizon Call of the Mountain. Did the reviews affect ye? Like, are you disappointed? Does it change anything? Are you still going to be playing this and buying this or whatever? Ali Boy says, I also really hope Swordsman VR jumps on the opportunity before Blade and Sorcery. It is coming, I think. Is it not a launch game? Or like launch window? No? Nick Jones has joined the Pumpkin Patch. Thank you very much, Nick Jones. Welcome. Rui S says, does PSVR2 have potential to do things like ray tracing in VR titles? That would be game changing. Your pronunciation is perfect, by the way. Thank you very much, Rui. Does it have potential to do ray tracing in VR titles? I don't have the technical know-how to say yes or no to that, Rui. Maybe in the more basic looking games, maybe probably not in something like Horizon Call of the Mountain. But if it was something like, I don't know, Minecraft, those kind of level of visuals, maybe then, I don't know. Excuse me, I wish there was a quick way to mute this microphone. Is a bit tricky like that. Mr. Jackpot says, if you don't get a review copy or firewall, I guess you're trying to say, we should all boycott First Contact Entertainment. I think we're a good while away from getting review copies for First Contact, for Firewall Ultra. The way they're saying 2023, they're not saying Q2, Q3, Q4. It's like just a vague 2023. I think it's going to be a little while away. But yeah, I'll definitely try and get a review copy. That would be sick, as the kids are saying. Important says, Horizon is cool and all, but it's a linear ride. That's not a killer app mainstream system seller. Well, Half-Life Alyx was linear too, and, you know, it was considered to be a killer app for VR, I think. I mean, it didn't end up moving that many headsets, I don't think, on PC, but anyone who does have the PC headset has this game. It made a lot of people angry that it wasn't flat, which is what I want. I want more games that make people like, fuck's sake, I have to get a headset now to play this, even if I don't want to. Everyone who played it like praised. I mean, it was a fucking... I know you probably don't care about Jeff Keighley's Game Awards, but the fact that it was up there, not in the VR Game of the Year, but in the overall Game of the Year category for 2020, whatever it was. I can't remember what game won, The Last of Us or something. But the fact that it was up there is what I wanted with Horizon, you know. And it wasn't that it was linear or open that made it. It was just that it was like superbly crafted, you know. Muzz says, so many reviewers complained about how much you climb. The Uncharted games had you climbing 70% of the time too, but I think the issue with this is that you're actually physically climbing. So people were like, my hands are getting tired, you know, which is something like I'm an unfit fat piece of shit. So I'm not looking forward to doing this shit, like, you know, for hours. 70% of what, 7-hour game, 8-hour game. Booyakasha says, just got my Gran Turismo 7 and wheel. Congratulations, Booyakasha. This week is going to be a special week for all of us, but especially for the lads with the wheels. Important says, I'd be surprised if we think Horizon will be better than Farpoint. I'd be surprised if we think Horizon will be better than Farpoint. Hot take here, but I think Farpoint is a little bit overrated. A little bit overrated. I think the aim controller made that game special. I think it was a super, like, you're talking about linear games, like that game was like really super, like the path was like, I felt claustrophobic sometimes on the path in that game. The way enemies would not attack you unless they're like front facing towards you, stuff like that. And I know there was reasons for that, obviously the limitations of the camera, that's what they were kind of working around, but it felt kind of still a great game. Love Farpoint, really want a Farpoint too, but I think Horizon will blow it out of the water. I think. Buyakasha says, Farpoint is my favorite PS4 game. I hope they do another. Man, I didn't mean to be shitting on your favorite game. Mega Devil says The Forest or Sons of the Forest would be a dream, so atmospheric. What's that other one? That Green Hell. Green Hell got confirmed. Isn't that like something similar? Brandon McLean says, can you fall? That would be intense. That would make it interesting. Yes, you can fall. And you might even see footage of them falling in this review. But some of the reviews did show actually, like, you know, they let go to see what would happen and you do fall. And if you miss a handhold, you will let go and you'll fall and you'll die. Ali Boy says, I guess we are going to see a bunch of PSVR 1 upgrades on launch day. But I'd like to see like the Blood and Truth, the Astrobots, stuff like that. They're being very quiet from Sony, you know. Rogue says, if you're using hardware encoding for streaming, you can try disabling hardware encoding in the browser settings. Sometimes Windows Hags interferes too. Just thought I'd mention. Okay. Should I do that now, do you think? Or like after the stream kind of a thing? I'll do it after the stream. I don't want to be doing IT work after that. But thank you very much for, you know, that could be something that helps a lot. And I'm using Chrome as well, which is probably a bad idea. Ali Boy says, also, I really think Days Gone would work well in VR. Well, there you go. That's your big open world game in VR as well. Although, man, those hordes would be intense. Exactly, Half-Life Alyx was not the killer app, but it was the killer app. I mean, it was called the killer app. It was getting 10s out of 10s. I mean, I don't know what more you want. You know? I mean, if you want to talk about the killer app, it's VR Chat. Because, you know, that's the one that everyone's playing. Or that Gorilla Tag game. Those are technically killer apps because, you know, it's what's the kids are watching on the TikToks and whatnot, and they're like, that's what they're getting the headsets for. Dead Eye Dan is here. How you doing, Dead Eye Dan? Smash the like button, y'all, and tell your friends to make pumpkins a household word. Probably already is. A pumpkin is a common gourd. But I appreciate the sentiment, Dead Eye Dan. Rabbi Bill Clinton VR. I'd like to thank my former Orthodox rabbi, Bill Clinton. What a day that was. What a day. Alan Buckley, there's an Irish sounding name. The need to make COD or Battlefield VR compatible. Oh, they need. And with crossplay, and then you'll see headsets moving. I can see, you know what I can see happening? If they make like COD crossplay compatible with VR, people in VR having some kind of advantage, and then everyone who's playing it flat, like bitching and moaning, maybe rightly so, because I don't want to be paired up in the PC lobbies, you know, with their mouses and whatnot. So that could be a dangerous game to play in a way too. Importance is that GTA or Red Dead will force non-believers to jump on board, only if it's exclusive though. You know? If GTA 6 was a PSVR 2 exclusive, like you could not play that game flat, that's a killer app. But if it's flat and VR, I mean, is that going to force anyone? Red Dead with co-op would be banging. I mean, there's Red Dead Online where you can have like, I don't know, 30 people, 40 people in the lobby, and you can just go fishing together, hunting, stuff like that, just chilling out, go for a canoe ride. That would be amazing. Some fast underground gamecast rocking out in the chat. How you doing, some fast? Ratho Fall says, how you doing, Ratho Fall, by the way? I'm most looking forward to Behemoth updates. I really want to see gameplay for that. I mean, the trailer looked really, really good, but obviously it wasn't gameplay. Important says, that's what I mean. Farpoint is similar style to Horizon. I mean, they're both linear. But I don't agree that a game has to be open to be a killer app, you know? I agree that GTA and Red Dead would be killer apps, but that's only because those particular open worlds happen to be the most, you know, believable, lifelike open world. Like, they feel like real worlds, but that's not because they're open. You could do that with flat too, if you do it well enough. It's about the details and making us all believable and whatnot. Some fat says, nice haircut, young man. I'll pass on your compliments to my sexual lovemaking partner who did it for me. Thank you very much. Mr. Jackpot says, are you getting Demio or Walkabout? Probably getting both of them, but probably not. Well, obviously Walkabout is not ready for launch. Demio is, but I'm probably not going to get it day one. Maybe when I start to get, you know, fed up of whatever I'm playing, then I'll branch out into the likes of Demio. Get them both. Well, I'll try and get like review codes and stuff. No cap, my guy says it shows the flexibility of the Decima engine. They just have to learn what doesn't work in Viewer, what works, and what's essential. Well, actually, I hate to be that guy, but seeing as you don't like to cap, I'm not going to cap with you right now, my guy. Horizon Call of the Mountain is actually running on Unreal Engine 4, which surprised me too when I learned that. I hope you can't hear the mouth noises I'm making right now. I got a lot of saliva going on. Understandable, I'm sure you'll all agree. The killer app hasn't been made yet. If it were, we'd have to camp out in front of the store for PSVR2. The killer app was Beat Saber, wasn't it? That was PewDiePie was playing that. You know, it was top of the PlayStation charts every single month. Beat Saber was probably the closest thing we have to a killer app. Ali Boy says VR Chat is one of the best Spider-Man sims. That's game. If you can call it a game, I don't know what it is, but it's crazy what goes on there. Tradition says, good shouts on turning off hardware acceleration in Chrome if currently GPU limited for streaming. Well, I can see the software I'm using to stream, OBS, is telling me I'm just using 12% CPU right now. So it must be a GPU issue. Of course, I don't know what I'm talking about, so hold on. I think I successfully muted and unmuted there. But Tradition, how you doing? Mega Devil Bird. What's your thoughts on Project Wingman PP? To me, it looks like a carbon copy of Ace Combat, and I'm alright with that as long as there is HOTAS support. My thoughts, I've kind of looked into it a little bit. I've watched a few reviews because it's been out on PC for a while, and from what I gather, it's like a slightly lower budget Ace Combat game, where it still looks very, very impressive. It doesn't look low budget, but I think it's low budget in terms of they can't afford the licensing rights for the planes or the jets, whatever you want to call them. So they kind of alter them a little bit, so they're not one-to-one. So obviously that's not going to bother me. I'm not going to notice that like an F-16 has like little baby wings on the side or something like that. Makes no odds to me. But what else did you say as well? It was like the big criticism that I remember from the review I watched was that the missions have no timers. So in Ace Combat 7, you have to do everything in a certain set time. And then he found that when he played Project Wingman with no time, there was no urgency. He was just flying around taking his time, which, you know, kind of took a little bit away from him. I think HOTAS support was dodgy in the beginning on PC, but then they sorted it out. I got some reflux going on here, as I always do when I'm talking to you people. Mr. Buckley says Squadrons is crossplay and people bought headsets because of the advantage. Really? Is that true? You're the first person I've heard say that. I'm not saying you're wrong or anything, but like, I don't hear anyone talking about Squadrons really, which is weird. Ali Boy says, hope more live service games look into PSVR2 as a cash cow and not battle passes. Well, if they're live action games, they're probably going to come with battle passes. Important says, if that haircut were any shorter, we'd see your smooth brain. I know. What you think? You think it's too short? And no, I wanted to look good for the PSVR2. I want to make a good impression. Now I'm worried. Decepticon says, I have a few of the DLC courses as well. If someone has the courses, others don't have to pay for the courses to play. I assume you're talking about walkabouts, mini golf. Brain antenna. What? Is that what my hair looks like? Little antennas? Buyakasha says, what was the announcement for the Unreal game? Okay. Okay, let me get through these topics because we're getting off course. We're talking too much shit. Alright, we'll jump down to that Unreal one, seeing as Booyakasha actually would like to know. Hold on a sec while I find it. Let me, yeah, entertain yourselves there real quick. I gotta go in my history tab. I don't want you to see all the gay porn I was watching. Or may have been watching. Recently closed? No, not in recently closed. Have to go into the history. I had to go into their official website for Unreal. Where is this? Where? There it is. There it is. I gotcha. Alright, you're allowed to look now. I'm dressed. Alright, so VR Games Week 2023 starts next week! Exclamation point. So with PSVR2 releasing next week, we wanted to celebrate the launch by highlighting several Unreal Engine powered VR games coming to the platform, as well as titles coming to bleh, and more. A little trailer there, but whatever. VR Games Week 2023 officially kicks off Monday, February 20th and runs through Friday, February 24. Expect a plethora, which means a lot to me, of amazing VR stories that highlights the following games: Hubris, The Dark Pictures Switchback, Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2, Crossfire Sierra Squad, a VR-focused Inside Unreal live stream, and this one here, which is key, a to-be-announced VR game. So there is an unannounced Unreal Engine game that's going to be unveiled next week. And then, of course, in the bottom, and more. But, you know, who knows what that is. Now, when this, maybe they'll save this for the last day. Maybe this will be the Friday. I don't know. Maybe it will be maybe be like a surprise shadow drop day one title on Wednesday. I don't know. We will have to wait and see. We'll see what this video is. While we have a little chat. It's only 15 seconds. It's going to loop. Mr. Jackpot says Beat Saber is overrated. I agree. I got bored of us after a few days. Never went back. Never wanted to buy the music packs. But I cannot deny the popularity. Just like Fortnite, you could say is overrated, but doesn't stop. Doesn't change the fact that it's like the most popular game on the earth. Maybe next to Candy Crush. Turning off the Chrome's hardware acceleration will make it use CPU. Seems you have enough free. Okay. Are you suggesting I do that now? If I do that now, where is this? Settings. If it's not quick and easy, look at this. Too many options. Performance. I found performance. It's not there. I see memory saver, energy saver. No, we're not doing that. Okay. Sorry about that. I shouldn't have tried. I will try after though. I'll Google how to do that. Massey Fat Batcat says Project Wingman is actually quite good. Kinda a hidden gem. And you know what I saw? I saw gameplay. He's in the cockpit and he looks out the side window and it's like a lovely sunset. But the way the light hits the cockpit, you can see like the little scratches in the canopy of the jet, which looked quite nice. Important says the killer app ain't Beat Saber. The killer app will need 1 to 800 numbers. What? 1 to 800 numbers for people that can't take the headset off and get post-viewer depression. Oh, 1-800 numbers. Phone numbers. I thought you were like player counts. I was like, what is this? What does he mean, 800 players? I should have hit mute, I'm sorry. Okay. So what you're saying is we need that Sword Art online anime fucking shit. No cap, my guy says, appreciate the info. I didn't know that. I was actually looking into Unreal 5 viewer support ever since it was released. I've seen a guy, there's a guy I follow on Twitter who's like, because they don't officially support Nanice and Lumen, but he's like working, he seems to be working on getting that shit happening. So he's been interesting to watch on Twitter. Billy Goat Catfish says Borderlands 3 VR with multiplayer would be my killer app. Is Borderlands 3 better than Borderlands 2? Johnny Gaiman says, what is that thumbnail, lol? Johnny, I refer, when we see the apes The unevolved flat apes. I am, of course, talking about the mainstream media who, they're not up here with us yet. They don't really get virtual reality gaming. So it's kind of like watching a monkey beating a bone against a dead horse. Beating the dead horse that VR is, expensive, cables, blah, 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 blah. It's got levels, Johnny. It's deep. Alan Buckley says when Squadrons dropped, there was a loss of PSVR 1 and Quests sold because people wanted to have the immersion and the advantage. When big selling games like COD and Battlefield Go, VR headsets could sell. I agree 100%. Call of Duty is pretty much needed. Battlefield up there as well. Although Battlefield has kind of fallen off a little bit. I think Battlefield 2042 was a bit of a dud, whereas Call of Duty Warzone seems to be going from strength to strength. Important says VR game, not PSVR game. Oh, you mean the upcoming thing? Yeah. Well, look, it's very possible. Well, I assume it'll be multi-platform. I can't unequip or on. Yes, I can. I don't know why I highlighted it. It makes it harder to read it. A to be announced VR game. To me, sounds like it's probably going to be multi-platform. I'd be very, very shocked if that's not a PSVR 2 title as well, especially when they started off with PSVR 2 releasing next week. We wanted to celebrate the launch by blah 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 blah. So if you're not going to celebrate the PSVR 2 launch by announcing a game that's not on PSVR 2. However, it's always wise to be skeptical and question these things. So, you're not wrong to do that either. Search at top lol, type hardware, do it laser, I'll do it later. Rogan, thanks for the tips once again. And I'll let you know in the Discord if it worked. Well, I won't know until I stream again, but you know what I mean. It will also let you stream Netflix as it bypasses D or M. What? I'm lost. Who's the nana guy on Twitter? Oh man, I cannot remember his name. He's like I think he's got a goatee actually. Black hair, goatee. I see his tweets pop up all the time, and he's got he's going through a big city. I think he got the Matrix Awakens demo. He's going through it with the ball, a reflective ball in VR, and it's casting reflections accurately and all this kind of shit. If you get big screen, we can finally have live movie nights. I don't know how that's going to work though, in terms of PlayStation allowing you to, it's going to have to be a curated selection of movies, I assume. They said they plan on it, but they also said that for PSVR 1, so not holding my breath. Hope it happens though. Yeah, they did say that, and I wouldn't mind if they cancelled for PSVR 1, but you say it. If you cancel a game for PSVR 1, say you cancel a game for PSVR 1. It's not a game, but you know what I mean. I hate when they just stop talking about it. Mr. Jackpot says they probably won't even let us do private rooms and only the paid movie rooms because Sony is a little bitch. This message was brought to you by Mark Zuckerberg. Buy Quest 2 now or else. Whoops. Subcon says if it's crossplay, someone with PC can host whatever movie. Yeah, but they'll have safeguards in place for that, I'm sure. Sorry for the gas. PP, it's a movie room and you can stream whatever is in your computer. So you can stream whatever you want. Are you telling me my PS5 is gonna connect to my laptop and stream whatever I want? Last comment on this. When you stream Netflix over OBS, big screen, whatever, it shows up blank. Unless you disable hardware acceleration. Ah. But why would I ever want to? Well, okay, I know for big screen that's why you'd want to do it. But for OBS, I just guess I'd get in big trouble. What up, Space Denizen? How you doing? Alright. Let's get to another topic, shall we? We skipped down to the last one, but we can go back up. Kayak. Yeah, so I thought Kayak VR was a little bit strange because if you check its Metacritic, it only has one single review. from PlayStation Universe, I think, and they gave it an 8.5. And then I watched Gamertag's video on it today, where he says basically it's a must-have. Amazing visuals, the haptics are really well done. It's reasonably priced. It's only like €20-ish, and there's a bit of a discount if you get it pre-ordered. And yeah, I think it's weird that there's only one critic review. Why did so many of these reviewers get the headset, get a bunch of games, including Horizon, but they only seem to focus on Horizon? You know, why didn't all these other games get scores? I think it's really kind of weird, you know. And you know, games like What the Bass, Tentacular, I've got them written down here, Moss, Tetris, Rez, Demio, they mentioned these things in passing, but nobody like gave them scores or anything, which I think was weird. Sean Murray, we talked about that already, so that means there's only one story to go. Let me see if I can find the video on YouTube. It's a bit weird. This might not have anything to do with PSVR2, but you never know. It could. Here it is. Let me hit loop. This is Street Fighter VR. There is an official Street Fighter VR game. The catch is it's in an arcade somewhere in Japan. It's not something that you can get on a headset freely. And if you watch the gameplay here, it's kind of weird what's going on. It seems like icons appear on the enemy you're fighting, and then you punch those icons. So I don't know if this is like free fighting, but basically it's first person in a 2v2 or 1v1 beat 'em up. Or is it a beat 'em up? Fighting game. You call them a fighting game. And I do not know how that can work. But as you're watching here, you can see like Ryu can throw you. That fucking Zangief guy can make you, you know, that tornado spin and all this kind of crazy shit. And yeah, I mean Tekken 7 tried to do VR. I think they did it in a way that I would expect, where you're kind of like sitting at the sideline watching two people fighting, whereas with this you're actually first person fighting. And you know, you're doing Hadoukens or whatever. I thought I told you to loop. Oh, you are looping. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to take it out on you like that. Important says we need a stereoscopic media player on PSVR2, not just 2D. I'm holding out on Avatar 2 until I can see it in a virtual theater. That's something they could add in an update though, isn't it? Because I've seen Mike, Virtual Reality Oasis, that fella Mike, he tested out a 3D Blu-ray and it does not have support. It just plays it normally, I think. So, you know, I think we have to wait for a patch. I assume that could be patched in if they wanted it to be, even though, you know, 3% of people will probably ever use it. I don't own a single 3D Blu-ray myself, but whatever. Yo, they need to slap that on PSVR2. Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. This is not confirmed for any platform yet, but you'd imagine if this gets popular, or, you know, any kind of positive word of mouth at all, they'll probably be looking into getting us on PSVR2. Especially when you consider they've got like a good relationship. Capcom have a really good relationship with bringing VR games to PSVR. Mega Devilbird says, I would love to see a port or new game from the dev of Separation. One dev, a labor of love, amazing soundtrack from the same dev, and a very emotional game. I thought that game was original, man. I kind of remember that game. It was like a death graphics, if I remember right. That was like not my type of game, I don't think. A little bit artsy for me, but yeah, I remember a lot of people having some high praise for that. Well, not a lot, obviously, but you know, some people having high praise for that game. Space Denizen says, new game with non-slug locomotion. Yes, please. Slug it up. Slime them slugs. Not that I got anything against slugs, y'all. Welcome to the game slugs, as tradition calls us. And that's me gone through every topic. That's every topic, even though the majority of this episode was just chatting shit to you, which I enjoyed, by the way. It is now the 19th of February for me. It is Sunday. It is the last Sunday I will ever be without a PSVR2 in my possession. There's only a Monday and a Tuesday to go after the Sunday. And, I mean, it still doesn't feel real, you know? The hype. I'm at the point now where it's like I don't even feel the days gone by anymore, you know? Back when it was like 15 days, 14 days, it was like, oh God, every day, you know, matters. Now it's like they're just melting away. I can't keep track of them anymore. Mus says, thanks for shaving off a couple of hours from the few days left to get VR2. And that reminds me as well, I have to do an audiobook. I'm going to finish an audiobook narration before PSVR2 comes out. Bro, these days be dragging, says Space Dance. And you know what I think it is? I think what's helping is that I'm kind of dreading now not getting us on day one. So now that I don't want the Wednesday to come, I don't want to see everyone getting us and me being like, oh man, I don't have it, you know? That's what's making the time go faster for me now, I think. Place your bets how long before we see a magnetic DIY stock for Pavlov. I bet. I know there's already a company that, well, not a company, probably just one fella doing it himself, but there's one fella selling them already for quests or whatever, so I'm sure he's got like an estimation. Once he gets confirmation, he's probably going to hit the go button on that, you know, the sizes, the dimensions are all right. So I'm going to say within like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, before you can start ordering them from him. Do you think they're going to have them day one at retailers like Best Buy and GameStop? I don't know. Obviously in GameStop Ireland they'll have them because that's the only place you can get them. But we've got another retailer called Smith's over here, where I'd get most of my games back throughout the years when I was getting physical stuff anyway. And I searched for PSVR2 on their website and they've got nothing coming up. You know, you can't pre-order us, but there's no mention of us at all. If you search for PSVR2, only Quest shit comes up. Mega Devil says the hype is real. Mus says you do audiobooks. Yes, I do. And I think it's like mainly because some people would randomly comment on some of my videos saying like, oh, if you did audiobooks, I'd listen to that. So then I started doing audiobooks. Mine said they would, says Mr. Jackboss. Important says it's a real Smithstorm. Smiths with a Y. So that doesn't work. Alright. But yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on in terms of being able to walk into a store day one and pick one up. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know why in America Sony is still the only place you can get one. To me, that is strange. Listen, lads, ladies. Breakfast of Champions read by PP. I'm reading romantic fantasy. I'm reading the second book in the series now, and this one has like spicy sex scenes and shit that I'm gonna have to like moan into the microphone. So that's gonna be pretty hot, if I do say so myself. Hawk107 says I want to support PSVR2, but I think I'll wait for a PSVR2 revision or Slim. Really? This is a joke, Hawk? Well, actually, there probably will be a revision. There was for PSVR1. But yeah, GG says Jackbot. GG to all of you. Thank you for joining. If you liked the video, I appreciate that very much. And thank you for all the comments. And, you know, just helping me pass the time as well. Until we get that sweet, sweet PSVR2 action. Not long to go now. There might not even be a touch and tips. The next time there'll be a touch and tips, you'll all probably have one, maybe. Maybe I'll do one beforehand. We'll see how much crazy news is announced in the days to come, which there could be mad crazy news. There could be a Stays of Play on Tuesday, for all we know. Anything could happen. So yeah, listen, take care, mind yourselves, and oh, no, you know, I was going to do a Jordan Peterson, but then I was like, no, I don't have that thing set up, so I'm not gonna. Anyway, take care. Bye-bye.
What the fuck is this?